Here we go. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Smudcast number 698, How the Critical Drinker Misrepresents Barbie and Why That Matters. I think Pillar of Garbage has written titles like that before, Why It Matters. You know, we have to care what is important about someone's opinion about a movie that's interpretive in the first place. I don't actually watch Critical Drinker lately, so I don't know what his big deal was. I did watch this one for the sake of this video. And it's surface level. It's always been surface level. He does it for the joke at times. Sometimes he's got some meaningful things to say, some insight. Not every film can pull that out of every person, even a critic. So I don't hate or dislike him for that. But Barbie has been a very popular film with not mixed reviews, but mixed opinions from critics that I listen to. And this is all from... You go to even the Daily Wire guys, who are mostly right-wing. Michael Knowles is the one guy who loves it. Everyone else is highly critical, but they have their own nuanced opinion. There's lots of stuff to pick apart in this film. So it's not a pile of trash, I don't think, unless people are having...
It is.
People will say that. That's fair. You can like and dislike anything for whatever reason. That's fair. But I like the fact that there are some nuances to it if we pay attention. The difference becomes, what is the nuance and how far do we have to read into it for it to be this meaningful thing that's of good value? And I think if you guys do not like the film, and that includes people on the panel, check out Michael Knowles' view of it. It's only a 14-minute review compared to Ben Shapiro's, which is like 42 minutes or whatever, where he just takes it apart. So,
jeez.
Yeah.
Like all the nuance in it is only a result of the incompetence of the writers.
Perhaps
it's accidental.
Well, that's the thing that Michael Knowles says. Either it's designed that way by the writer, which she said in an interview it was, or it was all accidental. It was all just.
I think the writer's just running with it. What I believe is more likely is that the writing room was absolutely incompetent. Wanted to get this feminist fantasy propaganda going, but they're so incompetent at it that it only needed one mole who nudged the script into a direction where where feminism shows its super ugly side and how dismissive and callous and hypocritical and projecting it is.
Well, I do recommend checking out Greta Gerwig's other films that came out years ago, Little Women and Lady Bird. She has her own, I think, directorial debut there. Or I think she co-directed a film before that, but this is her own. Like, she wrote and directed Barbie, Little Women, and Lady Bird all herself. So it's all. I think she also helped produce this one as well. I don't remember, but she's doing the Snow White one, that's where I'm going to be like, wait, that's where we have to draw the line, because what we've heard so far of the Snow White film being a retelling, is not what we want.
Yeah.
But with Barbie, you can do whatever you like, and that's fair. And she's saying there's nuance. Michael Knowles says there's nuance. I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt. So in this review with Pillar of Garbage, we have a very far-leaning person and another far-leaning person disagreeing with each other. So it's like, all right.
Two retards fighting.
It's along those lines, yeah.
What scared me is that this movie so far made 1.2 billion.
You know what?
That scares me.
They want to make a universe out of a bunch of stuff.
Mattel, I think. That's the company.
It's there's like 14 properties. One of them is Barbie, but there's all these like toys from the 80s and franchises from the 80s that they're trying to make into universes from movies, which makes no sense.
If they all make it like this is the only one that's going to work.
Maybe if they.
Maybe Polly Pocket might work the same way.
Watch the Red Letter Media joke, where they list the Twitter feed of the actual post by Mattel or whatever company it was that has the 14 or so franchises they're trying to make into cinematic universes. So that's...
Must have missed out.
That's amazing.
As long as they mix it up, because you can only do the fish out of water story so many times before people are like, okay, we're sick of it.
Oh, right. Well,
yeah.
Well, I'm just saying,
it's gone after superheroes. It's gonna be the next big thing in Hollywood. It's like Hollywood isekai.
Oh, that's the hot thing in manga. Now it's gonna be the hot thing in Hollywood. Just toys.
Barbie is in the guy.
We have video game now. We have Mario Brothers. We got Sonic. Now we're gonna have toys. GI Joe toys. Actual real live GI Joes fighting. But wait a second, we're not part of the American military. What are we? We're a PMC. What's a PMC? All these nonsensical, weird pseudo realities of childhood memories just turned into weird adult scenarios.
They'll just get the guy who put Mila Jovovich into everything for G.I. Joe.
Yeah, and then Hideo Kojima will direct and write and produce and act and star, and it'll be great.
Right.
Anyway, this POG video came out a few weeks ago. It's about 20.5 minutes long. These are painful to go through, but hopefully this will. He might have some nuance that the drinker lost. I'm sure that's possible. Pog can get things right at times. So
does he? Drinker was pretty spot on.
But Drinker was also very limited in his analysis. But that's fine. You don't have to be a genius to analyze.
I don't know. How can you tell? How can you tell? You didn't see the movie. We all did.
True. That's true. However, if we were to watch a film together, I would probably have no problems analyzing a little deeper than the average person, including the Drinker. But that's just me. Anyway.
Yeah, so the things that go deeper than what the Drinker talked about are surely not in anything that a Pillar of Garbage would say.
This is true. As we know from Pillar of Garbage, he likes to use his imagination a lot and fall back on his whatever education of social studies he took.
Ooh, my sound die again?
You're still there, but it's quieter. Anyway, let's get started, guys. Here we go.
Is Barbie garbage? Barbage, if you will. Was it sold to audiences under false pretenses? And if so, is there a danger here? According to a recent video from everyone's favorite YouTuber, The Critical Drinker, the answer to those questions is an emphatic yes. The truth, though, isn't quite so simple, and in fact, that video says a good deal more about the Drinker and his critical practice than you might have thought. Join me as we wade through a truly baffling review and investigate the way the Drinker continues to mislead his audience, the way contentious narratives are invoked to disguise poor criticism, and the way this video illuminates the fundamental dilemma at the heart of the Critical Drinker's channel. Let's get into it. The Drinker's video starts and ends with the accusation that Warner deliberately misled the public as to the character of their film.
You guys really pulled off a miracle with this one, successfully duping all of us, including me, into believing that Barbie was going to be just another colourful, light-hearted, easygoing family comedy.
This is from the trailer, by the way.
You guys ever think about dying?
Anyway, the Drinker really hits this idea hard, hammering it home near the end in a way he doesn't often tend to do.
Barbie really is a wolf in sheep's clothing, tricking people into watching it by promising one thing and delivering something very different. And I guess that's the thing that really struck me about this film. A lot of parents will have been duped into taking their daughters along to watch this movie, probably expecting the kind of breezy, colourful, family-friendly movie that was advertised, only to find them...
So the nearest thing the Drinker's video has to a thesis or a through line, the string from which his usual motley assortment of nitpicks hang, is this idea that Warner pulled a fast one, tricked families into the cinema before blasting them with an agenda-driven misandrist adult film. So before we dig into the significance of the Drinker taking this angle, let's just check. Is he right? Shit, sorry, I don't know how that sound file got in the mix. Is he right? Well, no. Let's talk about the trailers. I can't play them whole, copyright's a beach, but hey, to make sure I'm not misrepresenting them in my discussion, the one teaser and two trailers Warner dropped for this bad boy that formed the backbone of the film's pre-release PR are linked in the description, so give them a watch now if you fancy. The initial teaser, the only real look at this film the world was given until like 3 months back, was, well, it's the Space Odyssey referencing opening sequence, played, I think, in full. Because you know what kids love? You know what those little guys just go nuts for? You know what gets them hyped about going to the pictures? Stanley Kubrick references. Those little bastards eat that shit up. But surely that's not the whole teaser. Well, no, of course not. There's also a 5-second montage of random clips closing it out. So, you know, at this point, is Barbie setting itself up as a lightweight kids flick, or is it maybe signaling it'll be a more thoughtful and adult affair? You'll have
That
to decide
scene.
that one, I guess.
That fucking
and
scene.
those random clips focus on the cast, show off Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, Simu Liu, and plenty more. Emphasis on celebrity, on a sort of star power adults care about, was a staple tactic. Maybe the staple tactic of the film's publicity. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that doesn't sink this guy's thesis. Maybe the only thing kids love more than a Kubrick reference is recognizing their favorite SNL alumni.
I don't think casting has anything to do with the argument from Drinker. That's irrelevant. That's like saying the cast of all of the Poirot movies made into mainstream, like with Sean Connery and all these other big stars in Murder on the Orient Express, is like, oh, it's going to be a different interpretation of whatever, and it ends up being the opposite. When you have less big casts, like the BBC, they will retell the version of the Orient Express, whereas the original one with was it Finney? I can't remember his name, the actor who played Poirot, that had Sean Connery, all these other big names. That was pretty true to form. Whereas the BBC version, and then the latest BBC version, what's his name? Not the BBC version, the Mr. Hamlet, the guy who played Hamlet. Oh, I can't remember his name. He reinterpreted Poirot, which a lot of the fans did not like, and they had a big star-studded cast. So,
are you talking about the latest movies?
Yeah, the guy with the handlebar mustache. Kenneth Branagh. I try to remember that guy, but I keep erasing it from my brain because of what he did.
Yeah, I always remember him as Loveless from Wild Wild West.
Oh, really?
Will Smith. Huh. Yeah, he was the villain.
That's right.
The guy in the wheelchair.
I know. He has such an amazing.
That's him.
Yeah, that's him.
Like he is so crazy. Like he thought he could be Poirot, which is exactly the wrong make and stature. And he changed the story, and everyone's going. All the Puritans are like, "Oh no, don't do that." So I stopped watching his Poirot films. But he had a star-studded cast, and he screwed it up. So I don't think the Drinker cares about casting, and I don't think that's some argument against him. That's silly. Anyway.
Yeah.
Here is a donation from Zeke Kyle. Thank you, Zeke. Barbie feels like the product of a writer's room packed to the brim of people who have to take SSRI cocktails to function and who are raised by neurotic alcoholic parents who let their kids be raised by TV and indifferent babysitters. Just a feeling. There's a feeling you get from every writer and every producer. So that could just be, you have to watch more of Greta's films to get it, probably. And unfortunately, the next one is going to be Snow White, which will probably change your mind for the worse. So,
yeah.
I recommend watching her previous two films if you want to get a feel for her, because that's when she started directing, and her script was wrong. So, anyway, back to the video.
Yeah, anyway, the rest of these trailers gesture toward a similar direction. I think that's fair to say. You might look at the trailers and see the sex jokes and the 80s folk song sing-along. You might see a project driven more by star power than by its somewhat passé IP. You might see Barbie say she's been thinking about death. You might see a film, the premise of which isn't
I might see that because it's there.
Going Barbie fun time, yay, but is instead very clearly a complication or subversion of the light-hearted, easygoing Barbie fun time, yay, you might expect when hearing the phrase Barbie movie. A film that looks to be family-friendly, sure, but not necessarily family-oriented. Not a kids' film, but a film kids can enjoy alongside their parents.
How?
You might look to the trailers and see all that, or you might not see it. The Drinker certainly didn't, or at least he claims not to have.
Okay, so good for him. I don't see how that's a fault. I see what the show is giving me. That's, if you want to take a surface level, which is Drinker is known for, good for him. I'm not, I listen to reviewers who are nuanced and some who aren't. Like Angry Joe. Simple guy, but I know that he gets his opinions outside of his own clique, and he reads comments and other people. So he has those lists where he starts listing things about a game or a movie, and I know those opinions aren't his, but they're accurate because other people provided them. He doesn't understand them, or he didn't come up with them himself. So I get that. That's fine. With the Drinker, he's trying to make you laugh, and he has a certain opinion, and he sees things very simply, and that's fine. You could interpret the film that way. There's nothing wrong with that.
I don't understand how this movie is supposed to be, or would be, in actuality, would be enjoyable to kids, because the dialogue doesn't allow that.
That's a good question.
Well, I think the trailers are misleading, because I watched the trailer for Barbie, not the Space Odyssey one, the one that's came out, everybody loved it, and I was like, okay, it looks like a fish out of water story, and then I went and read the plot summary online, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's okay, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, I also I went in thinking it was a family movie, and within the first 10-15 minutes they start making a joke about a beach off.
Oh yeah, that joke. That joke's in the trailer.
Yeah, I didn't see that trailer. I was inundated with the progressive ads where they're outside of Barbie's Malibu dream home, and they were making light like, hey, yeah, this is going to be a family movie, and it's not.
There's nothing family in that. There's nothing pro-family in that. It is anti-family, if anything. They make fun of. I wouldn't even say fun. They're just plain dismissive of the pregnant Barbie, whose name is not even Barbie. She's one of the few whose name isn't Barbie in the Barbie movie, which surprised me, because from what I remember from advertisements on TV when I was a kid, was that there were other Barbies, but they had their own names, and here they don't. That's the first odd thing. The other is that they make sex jokes, talk about genitals and such. I don't see that as family friendly or kids friendly, and yeah, it's Ken is not getting together with Barbie. She is completely rejecting him in the end, and all he wanted was to be noticed by her. He wanted to support her, all the nice things. But they even make a joke of, well, those are the Barbie houses. Where do the Kens sleep? Oh, and nobody knows. Nobody knows, because nobody cares. And that is somehow one of the things the movie claims to be, is to just be an inversion of the real world. That this matriarchy is just the inversion of our alleged patriarchy as feminism sees it, which means that they believe that women only exist to be ogled at, have no purpose, and men don't even care about where they sleep, and it is completely bonkers. So even the ending, where before you had the Ken brought the patriarchy, or what he thought the patriarchy was, to Barbie Land, where then everybody was happy. So before, the Barbies were happy, the Kens were not. Ken brought the patriarchy to Barbie Land, and the Kens were happy, and the Barbies were happy. But the main characters, or the protagonists, if we can call them that, when they return to Barbie Land to restore the old order, they then believe that, or that's how the movie portrays it, that the Barbies under the patriarchy have been brainwashed to like the patriarchy. When, after they turn it all back, the Kens get maybe a breadcrumb, but they don't get equality. So the Kens are miserable again, and while the Barbies are happy again. And that is somehow supposed to be the good ending, which just shows that this is not just an inversion of what feminism believes the real world is, because we are now supposed to believe that this is at the same time what would be good for women. because we're supposed to cheer for this. It's just insane. It's completely insane.
Also, Wisp, don't forget they have the song "Push" by Matchbox 20 playing at the beach, which is supposed to make you see the Kins as the bad guys.
Yeah, the whole thing is nonsensical. And the way that the Barbies get the power back is basically through YouTube. I'm not talking about what you think I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Barbie movie. They're trying to, because the Kens are trying to change the constitution by a vote. So the Barbies try to distract the Kens so that they forget to vote. So they're basically rigging the election. And they do that by creating infighting between the Kens, by lying to them and manipulating them, and basically playing what is it? I don't know what the English word is.
So the whole movie is from the perspective of the villain. I see.
So to say. So they pretend to be interested in the Kens for a while, and then they switch the Kens to create jealousy between the Kens, so the Kens start infighting.
Manipulation.
Yeah, it's completely manipulating the men to get power, and destroying democracy, fair democracy, is portrayed as a good thing. It's okay when you do it, girls. That's what it is.
All right. Here is Legacy with the $4.99. Thank you, sir. Oh, hey, it's the video Adam and Sitch and Andrew Clark covered. Seems Pog is going places. He's just making more crap. He's making stuff up in his mind. In this way, he might have some actual points. We're still getting there. It takes him a while to finally come to some sort of original thought. But he'll get there, and we'll criticize him on that. The Copper Owl for $2. Pog's thesis is garbage because it's a movie of a toy. I wouldn't say that. Just because it's a movie of a toy doesn't mean it's bad. Or opinion on that movie will be bad. But it's his interpretation through his lens that's the problem, which we have not yet got to. So, let's keep going. Fortunately, another donation. Hey, Kyogress. Hideout. How's it going, buddy? Okay. Funnily enough, the movie itself has a line in it that is essentially a character saying the patriarchy is a made-up concept, which might just be the most factual thing in the movie, even though it's probably intended as a joke. Perhaps. I remember this line from the analysis from Michael Knowles, and they say the word patriarchy like 12 times, like Barbie never doesn't shut up about it. And the person, Rhea Perlman, who invents the Barbies, like Barbie's talking to Rhea Perlman, and she's saying we make stuff up to deal with reality, I think. And that includes the patriarchy and Barbies, et cetera, et cetera. So these are interesting things that there's a bit more nuance than I thought would just go into some sort of silly wokist agenda sort of style of storytelling. There could be more. That's why I intend to watch the film now. So that's how it goes. And you guys keep throwing the donations at me, so I have to keep reading them. Thank you, I suppose. I want to keep going on the video, but we'll keep going here. This is from Hail, Honey, I'm Home. Okay.
Oh, that show. I remember it.
Yeah.
Never made it out of the vault.
Right next to Hogan's Heroes. Hail, Honey, I'm Home. Anyway. Fun fact, Simu Liu, one of the co-stars in this film, hope I pronounced that right, has a now deleted Reddit post where in talking about a role he played, he said, as a good thing, pedophilia is just like homosexuality and should be accepted as such. Also, Gosling Ken did nothing wrong. Oh.
Wasn't there a time in like the 50s or 60s where homosexuality was mistaken for the thing that you're now trying to push? It just seems a little.
The pedophiles use it as a thing to hide behind and establish themselves with, and they've done the same with the trans thing. That's why we see all these demon clowns running around.
All right.
They must all be exterminated.
Anyway, let's keep going. We're at 4 minutes in.
I'm going to say yes. That big idea he opens with is pretty clearly a misrepresentation of the film's PR, and I don't anticipate a lot of pushback on that. If that's
Okay, again, it's marketing. You're allowed to lie in marketing. All marketing is lies anyway to get you in your seats in the case for the film. I will not criticize a guy for not interpreting the marketing the way Pog wanted him to.
Granted, bro looks like a clown, but more importantly, great news. We can proceed with the video and get on our way toward the conclusion. That payoff's gonna be a doozy. But here's the thing, the quality of and intentions behind the rest of the drinkers' review also play a role in that conclusion, so really sorry, I know you guys hate it when I go through a drinker video and pluck it apart, but it looks like we've got to do at least a little of this. One bit I really like is here.
The important jobs are done by the Barbies, and the Kens just kind of exist. They've got no inherent value, they contribute nothing, they have no power or say in how their society is run, and they're basically looked down on as a bit silly. And
that is the valid point.
Why are you writing valid point approaching? That is an accurate telling of the movie.
Yeah, he's describing what the men in the Barbie land are just there. They're not doing anything.
He's probably not gonna elaborate on this, and instead he's just gonna cross over this one.
Yeah, this is the problem with these sorts of reviews. Like, we know the drinker has his own views and his own stances, and then we have this ridiculous take on this take as opposed to a ridiculous take on the film itself. So it's just this regurgitation of a take that's probably not too clear-headed or too.
But at least he's still using human language that we can understand.
This is true.
So far,
yeah.
English. Yes.
Like the Treasure Planet example was just way off the roof.
That was two adjectives and a noun we've never heard before in our lives. It was like, whoa.
Made up by a demon.
some feminist, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said.
Yeah, the thing is, Barbie Land could function exactly the same without the Kens. There would be absolutely no difference.
Right. They're second,
for the Barbies.
As Noel said, they're second-class citizens. Like, yep, that sounds about right.
Not even second-class citizens. Not even. It's as if they are air.
Oh.
So they are like the Jews in Nazi Germany?
It's portraying the Kens as accessories to the Barbies. They're
like Jews in Nazi Germany, yeah. Oh my god.
I don't follow.
So there's like a Kenocast?
The thing is, what the Kens do at the beach to get the attention of the Barbies is very akin to what you would see in a nature documentary about mating calls of animals, where they're just trying to puff themselves up and here, look at me, instead of the other guy. And when they look at the other guy is looked at, then they get jealous and start fighting. It's silly. I don't know how this is. If this is because if you go by the inversion interpretation, then this is how feminists or the writers believe how women in the real world act about men, and maybe there is something to that. I would give them that. But to say that the women, because the Kens are then the inversion of the women in the real world, are just accessories that get completely looked over and have absolutely no purpose and contribute nothing. That's not the case for women, especially housewives who raise children. But then Barbie Land doesn't have children. Barbie Land doesn't want children, so there's no purpose for families.
Right. There's the discontinued pregnant Barbie that just is she eternally pregnant? Is that how it goes? She's just
yeah. And they make constant fun of her. She's in like 2 scenes, but she's looked down upon. While we have to see fat, ugly Barbie as she is more accepted than pregnant Barbie.
Interesting.
Ain't that a kick in the pants?
Yeah, now they want to make a doll of that weird Barbie too, the Kate McKinnon Barbie.
The weird Barbie is the she's the product of a Barbie being played too much with, because that then ends up as being deformed, weird, drawn on, hair pulled out or shaven.
Yeah,
that's
now they want to make a doll of that.
The fuck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go.
Barbies. Oh my goodness. Their views on men.
What we see here is the drinker brushing right up against meaningful criticism and then blowing right past it. I'll expound. Let's put our thinking caps on. In a film about femininity and about female existence under patriarchy, this idea the film plays with now and then.
Did you just hear something? What the heck was that?
That was Mike.
The fuck is expound?
Expand upon.
I think you failed to say explain.
Anyway.
Just say explain then.
No, that's not pretentious enough.
Give him a break.
He's got a thesaurus. He's got a thesaurus, and he's going to use it.
Yeah.
He's rolling a 100-sided die, and then he knows the page.
He's got his expensive degree. He's got to use it, guys. Come on, give him a break.
Expand upon is still like an okay word to use, like even in normal speech. Come on.
Who uses
wild
it?
Americans?
He didn't say expand though. He said expound.
It
said expound.
It is a correct
Expound.
word. You can use that anyway.
It is a word, yes.
Okay. Anyway, we're fine. 2 more super chats. We'll get back to the video. Copper Owl. Movie is trash. I don't have the official gay Ken. Sorry, it don't have the official gay Ken. There's a gay Ken doll.
Yeah, it's Magical Earring Ken, and he is in the movie. He's one of the ones that helps break the quote-unquote brainwashing of the Barbies.
Ooh.
Isn't that Alan?
No, Alan does exist there, but remember near the breaking of the brainwashing, you see 2 Kens inside of Weird Barbie's house. One is a Sugar Daddy Ken, and
Yes.
one is Magical Earring Ken.
Oh, okay. That existed?
Yes.
All right.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
But Ellen was the worst. He deserves to suffer.
Here is the Giga Chad. What can we expect from Mr. Colleges Are Racist? We expect a lot, but it's all in his head, so it's kind of hard to interpret or guess what he's going to say next. So,
is that something he said?
Apparently. Thank you.
Collages are racist?
College.
Well, so are Reddit posts with JPEGs of lists of people in the Star Wars films that happen to be of not white demeanor. So, anyway. Let's keep going.
That candy are peripheral, that they don't get an equal slice of the pie. What could this mean? Could it be a tongue-in-cheek inversion of our familiar gender politic? Could the point here be a sort of
politics? But yeah, this is what I said. If it's the inversion, it fails because it's going way overboard. These scans have no purpose at all. Women have a purpose. Women in real life have a purpose. These scans have none.
of the role women are often still eye candy, peripheral.
These scans are forced in no role. If anything, they're forced into or kept. They're forced into the no role at all or kept out of any role. How can you even compare this?
Well, maybe this has like a Wes Anderson sort of cutout. You know how they're going in the boat. You know, it kind of looks like a Wes Anderson cut. So they're obviously in a stylized approach to Ken and Barbie in Barbie Land, right? So anyway,
so this ballet scene was gay.
Male characters.
The song was good.
Back onto male to highlight how and why. Or could the fact that regardless of context, men are on the bottom rung of the ladder, are subservient, simply mean film thinks men bad. The creators hate men, and that's that. The drinker hitches his car.
They seem to do.
Option, and that's both kind of funny and a huge missed opportunity to actually say something halfway insightful. See, symbolically speaking, the way Barbie Land works is twofold. The subordination of the Kens shows the drawbacks of our currently existing gender imbalances, while the Barbie's successes...
Which imbalances? Okay,
yeah.
If you're doing a switcheroo where you're having the women in charge and the men, it's like, great. What does that particular scene or imbalance represent in the real world? Tell me, which one? You can't just say that and expect us to go, oh, we know exactly what you mean. Because there's lots of inequalities in the world, and those are usually natural. So which one and which one's bad? You have to tell us, or else you're making shit up. This is the problem with not just Mr. Pog, but feminism in general. When you say there's inequality, it's like, which one? Where is it? How is that bad?
The Kens have nothing, absolutely Nothing at all. The one thing that confused me, though, was that Barbie Land doesn't have horses, and there was definitely some horse riding Barbie.
Yes, there's a lot of horse riding Barbie stuff.
It's the obvious thing to make. So that's why I was surprised that when Ken got to the real world and he saw horses with in combination with the men, he thought, "Oh, it's awesome, horses! Wow!" And the Barbies don't have that. That's missing. That is for including all these super weird things. They must have left that out just to be able to write the movie the way they did.
All right, there's a super chat donation, and we'll keep on going. The Copper Owl, I stand corrected. He's in the movie. Yep, thank you, sir. That was from Cyrek. Thank you, sir. Gingaman Prime. Oh, Gingaman, I don't know why you're throwing money at me, but thank you. Oh boy, here's the asshat spouting his usual pretentious bourgeoisie BS. Also, Bad Boy Beta, welcome to the wonderful world of Pillar of Garbage. Oh, he knows.
Yeah, I got your message, Ginga. Thank you. All right.
Yeah, Bad Boy knows. He's well aware.
Yeah, thank you. I'm too busy drinking to this.
Was Pillar of Garbage the guy who took his latte for a walk?
Yes, you've forgotten him already.
Oh, okay. I'm just trying to sort all the weirdos in my head.
He made you infamous. He clipped you in his video of our analysis of him. Anyway.
Oh,
yes.
Cool.
Yeah,
awesome. I'm famous now.
That was a year ago.
You made it, Whisp.
Yeah. Anyway, let's keep going.
And could achieve were these imbalances not a factor. Yes, there is an inequality here, but it's one being used to make a point about equality. And crucially,
wait.
Which was not even solved at the end, as any good movie would.
There is an inequality to make a point about equality. Which point? Where is the inequality? Point it out and describe why it is an inequality. It's all you have to do. And then we could say whether that makes sense or what's a pile of crap. It's that simple. Like, I don't like the, it's a satire on X. X what? Where is X? And how is that a good thing or a bad thing? Please point that. Like, you can make all kinds of messages in your film or book. But if it doesn't mean anything, you're just drawing up a mirror and going, look in the mirror. And I'm like, what am I supposed to look at? Tell me. You can't just show it to me and have me magically divine what you're trying to ask or tell me. This is like, oh, Drinker's so dumb. He doesn't see what I see. It's like, what do you see, buddy? Can you explain it?
Faggotry.
Okay.
It seems to miss as well. Barbie Land is not the film's recommendation. It's not a blueprint for gender utopia. It isn't reality. It can never be, and it was never supposed to be. Even in universe, it was explicitly created for a purpose.
No, but then your equivalence doesn't work. That it's an inversion of the problems of the outside, because it is not. This is ridiculous. This is a ridiculous level of inequality that is not the same as on the outside. This is bullshit. That's what the critique is. You are creating a false equivalence here.
All right.
The inspiration of girls, to show them what they could do and be personally. That is the idea here. But, well, that concept is a little messy. Given the Kens, Barbies, and Allens alike are seemingly endowed with some degree of sapience,
no, there's only one
potential
Allen
for it, Barbie Land's limited opportunities for Kens is a bit troubling. The film kinda hangs a lantern on this with the closing voiceover, but lampshading an issue isn't the same as resolving that issue. So yes, this would, I think, be grounds for a valid critique of, if not the film's ideas, then at least the way those ideas are delivered. But you see the issue, right? To get to this knot, you have to actually think about the film, about the things that make you uneasy, about why they make you uneasy before you hit record. And honestly, I'm probably giving the guy
Why? Why do you have to have emotion all the time? Why can't you have a logical understanding and disagreement? What's wrong with that? This is weird.
Because the Barbies say that, oh, I can hold emotions and rational thought at the same time.
Well, look at
they really don't. They're just emotional messes.
Look at Angry Joe. He gets angry, he gets silly, he gets serious, he gets calm. He can do all those things. What's wrong with him doing one over the other? But here, Pillar of Garbage is, nope. Mr. Critical Drinker has to be emotional. Like, why? That's silly.
Because otherwise you wouldn't feel sorry for William who raped someone from the main cast.
So he's saying that the Critical Drinker's emotions are wrong?
I don't know. It's a weird thing to say about you're not using emotions. It's like, it's a criticism. You don't have to use emotions.
I think this is like a backhanded way for him to criticize the Scottish people because he's British again.
Oh yeah? Is that how that goes?
Yes.
Oh.
All the English are like this.
Oh dear. Anyway, one more donation. We'll get back to the video. Kilgore says, "Hideout, thank you, sir. For the one, Pog's idea of inequality is when women don't have all the power." I don't know. I wish we knew.
Yeah.
I wish he told us. Or
that is what it ends up as.
Explain to us what the problem is so far, because all he's saying is, why don't you use emotion? It's like, I don't know. Why should he? I don't understand. When you're criticizing something, you don't just say, I don't like thing. It make me feel bad. Like, that's not going to help me.
Assuming any of that even registered with him, that he didn't just woke spot the surface level dynamic of man being dominated by women and call it a day. After all, a broken clock is right twice a day, and by that same logic, if you let a half-cut fool rant for a couple of years...
Oh, here we go. The name calling. What is a half-cut?
Does he ever look in the mirror?
Does half-cut mean a haircut? Is it facial hair? Is it something else I'm missing? Does anyone know the definition of half-cut?
Never.
I have no idea.
No.
I thought he said half cooked.
Well,
that would make more sense than half cut.
His subtitles...
Maybe his YouTube accent makes it weird makes him pronounce it weird.
Oh, he wrote that, I'm sure. He wrote that.
Oh, to be drunk. That's the terminology.
It means to be drunk. Okay.
Oh, then just say drunk.
No, that's not
half cut. You gotta be half cut to expound.
You gotta bring up your thesaurus every time you want to make an insult.
Oh, God. I gotta use 2 words to describe something that can be solved in 1 word.
Yeah,
or said in 1 word.
Yeah,
great job.
Thank you, Mr. Pog.
He just keeps on
films. Statistically, that doesn't mean he'll actually critique. Same logic. If you let a half-cut fool rant for a couple of years about dozens of films, statistically, he is going to bump into some real problems eventually. That doesn't mean he'll actually critique them. It doesn't even mean he's able to. Just that, yeah, he'll end up mouthing off in their general vicinity before going on to shout at more.
You know what? I would love for Pog to have a conversation with Critical Drinker and just ask him exactly what he said.
I think like the guy would punch the shit out of him.
Well, Critical Drinker would be like, I don't care. Just I don't. Like, who are you?
Go away now.
It wouldn't be a long conversation.
You could say the exact same thing that he just said about Drinker, about any left-wing activist.
This is
the message.
This is so low level. I was hoping for some analysis of his technique, of his methods, of where he's lacking, not... He's not using his emotions enough.
We're 8 minutes in and he's
my emotions were disgust.
His name that he's drinking.
Disgust and repulsion and utter shock at the insanity of this movie.
Okay. Anyway. 8 minutes in, yeah. Oh, jeez.
Moving on, this...
literally walks up to Barbie and slaps her in the ass. Slaps her in the ass in the middle of a crowded boardwalk in broad daylight in front of her boyfriends.
Go with me here. The real world in this film isn't all that real. Anyone who's seen the film will
Oh, what kind of excuse is that now?
That's a great explanation. The real world isn't real. Great, thank you.
That is a back pedal if I've ever heard one. And the insane thing about that scene, by the way, is that Barbie gets handled by the police for punching the guy, when in reality that guy would be locked up for sexual harassment.
So or at the very least, like, filmed. Like, people would be filming that guy. Like, hey, that's the guy that slapped that woman on the ass.
You're on camera now.
Yeah.
We're going to cancel you.
And you know what happens right after? Right after this, being at the police? Ken and Barbie steal clothes. Oh wait, they already have the globe.
This is the second time. This one's the second.
Okay.
So
And that's the one thing that they deserve to be to be taken by the police.
So we could argue the real world depiction in a film, which is fictional, is probably not going to be accurate to life. I think that's pretty accurate. We can say that about every story.
Yeah.
It's not, hey, their depiction of this downtown world is not how reality is. It's like, yeah, it's not supposed to.
Like in the quote unquote real world of this movie, there's only men working, and all women are either just there or secretaries. That's it.
Purposely, because they wanted to show the disconnect and differences between the two worlds, and that's totally fine. We know how the real world works. We don't need to have it in a direct, literal, like, you imagine them doing like some sort of not like, I don't know if you guys ever watched What We Do in the Shadows, the film. Like, they actually just went out into 9 o'clock at night and just filmed. They had nothing planned, and that was just them riffing it with real people. Like, can you imagine them doing that in the Barbie? Like, that would be a horrible idea. And then you'd argue, well, it's not really real. Well, actually, it was as real as it got to do improv recording. So, yes, every real world in a story which depicts the real world is not real, or is not as accurate as you might think. There might be a character that sounds accurate, that sells you on the concept. There might be a scenario. There might be a landmark, something. Great. That's normal. So, yes, it's going to be a bit of a pastiche. It's going to be a little bit of a nuance. It's going to be a little bit of something there for the purpose of the film and the narrative to tell a story. Not the, oh, look, this is the boardwalk. It's exactly the way I remember it. All the people are there. The guy who's always playing the drums is in the corner. And no one's saying anything. It's everyone's quiet. And nothing happens. That would not be very entertaining.
The insane thing is when Ken learns about the patriarchy. He gets a bunch of feminist books from the school library and apparently reads them, I guess, in a span of 5 minutes. He then tries to apply to a bank or something, some big company, some big firm, and asks the guy in front of, hey, if he can get a high position because he's a man, because that's how it works. And the guy says, oh no, you need this academic title and do that and etc., which are bars of competence that he has to prove, and he doesn't have them, so he can't get a job. And which is not how it works in Barbie Land, because the Barbies, they just have their jobs without ever showing any competence in them, because it's all just this magic play nonsense. But then the guy says, so then Ken asks about whether the patriarchy isn't as it was back in the day, and the guy tells him, oh no, we're just hiding it better, and laughs about it. But that's not hiding it better. When you actually put in limitations for men, then you're not hiding the patriarchy better that the women claim you have. You're not actually having the patriarchy. So it's just, it doesn't make sense left and right.
Okay.
This movie's insane.
Call that things are often a little exaggerated. Or do Mattel executives regularly engage in high-octane car chases? Maybe that's an America thing. Viewers from LA, please do tell me the last time you saw Enon Kreitz gunning it down Pacific Avenue. Given this, it seems strange that this moment gets targeted by the Realism police and something like the Mattel chase doesn't, when public sexual assault is the thing that, actually happens sometimes. But, of course, the idea of an otherwise realistic world contorting itself to overstate the frequency of
why does
assault
Barbie
by
get punished?
evil men supports the spiteful hatred of men line the drink is pursuing, and by extension the corruptive leftist propaganda problem it implies, more than a recognition of this world's wider exaggerated realism would. So
it's not an exaggerated realism. It's that it has some logic errors. Like, yes, nobody questions the guy sexually harassed Barbie there. Yes, Critical Drinker pointed out that this is absolutely silly. But the real question is, why was that guy not caught by the police? Because that's the logical thing that would happen in that scenario, but it isn't. It doesn't happen here.
Well, he points out, like, how come this scene gets criticized, but this other scene doesn't get criticized? It's like, well, that
What is
scene
wrong with
where
the female doctor?
No. I'm talking about where he was talking about, like, how come the guy slapping Barbie on the ass, that scene gets criticized by the realism police, as he points out, but the scene where Mattel is, like, the executives of Mattel are in a car chase with Barbie, how come that scene doesn't get criticized? It's like, well, because the scene where Barbie gets assaulted is in the trailer. For people who haven't seen the movie yet. That's in the trailer. Whereas the scene where the Mattel execs, I didn't even know about until I read the summary online. That's later on. It's like, well, yeah, you're going off of what you see. Nobody knows about the Mattel execs chasing Barbie yet.
Action car chase in a Hollywood movie is also more inside the suspension of disbelief than a completely out of place sexual harassment scene, as we saw here.
Yes, and people who are millionaires, who own fast cars, yes, sometimes they go over the speed limit, and sometimes, yes, they get pulled over for speeding. We just don't hear about it very often, but it does happen from time to time.
Oh no, a speeding ticket on my $1 million account.
Yeah, it happens from time to time, but yeah, if you were to watch, like, some guy, like, randomly, like, slap a woman on the ass in public and then just stand there like, yeah, I did that. It's like, no, yeah, somebody would get hurt. Somebody would get punched. Something would happen.
The question is, if we hypothetically accept that that there are no questions about the sexual harassment taking place, so that it happens the way it does, and there's no issue with the execution of that, with the situation it happens in, because that's the problem. But why is Margot Robbie, who plays the stereotypical Barbie, not some special feminist strong woman Barbie, but explicitly, that's her name, stereotypical Barbie, why is her first reflex punch the guy? Why is it not, oh my god, what the hell? And Ken would help her, because that would be the stereotypical reaction, because she was made in, I don't know, the 50s. And but that would not be in line with feminism. Yet later in the movie, stereotypical Barbie has stereotypical weak woman reactions that she then needs to get the moral boost speech by the other characters for. To get out of that emotional down. So, but here she doesn't have the emotional down. Here she does the strong woman reaction, which is not stereotypical Barbie. That's the issue. That's the bigger issue than just the why does this guy do this in the most public place.
Okay, we could argue characterization. I don't know what happens at that point in the story with Barbie and her mindset. If she's that kind of reactive person, she knows self-defense, she reacts very quickly, I don't know. But anyway, let's focus more on the critical drinkers analysis, or rather Pog's analysis of critical drinkers analysis.
That recognition isn't given, because withholding it allows this narrative to continue forming. And this kind of thing makes up the body of the Drinker's video. Rapid-fire nitpicks that come and go just quick enough to hide the fact that most don't really work. For instance, he notes Barbies change depending on how their owners play with them, and then goes on to criticize this concept by listing things which are not their owners playing with them.
Do you have any idea how many Barbie dolls must get broken, or thrown in trash compactors, or set on fire, or eaten by family pets every single day?
Or take this reading the Drinker offers.
Why is that wrong? Have you ever...
How does he know?
I've played with Barbies. I've had cousins who play with Barbies. They got destroyed all the time.
Yep.
Yep.
And throwing them to the family dog is something that would happen.
Yeah.
Or girls who just decide they don't want to play with their Barbie anymore, throwing it in the trash.
Right.
That would also happen.
Yeah, Pill of Garbage doesn't know how children in this case, little girls especially, play with dolls. Or Barbies in particular.
Maybe he was never a child.
The movie logic is that the emotional connection with the doll affects the respective Barbie in Barbie Land.
Right. Which is weird, but usually you would think there's a whole line of Barbies, but there's only one apparently. There's only one person playing with it, as opposed to.
Well, every Barbie seems to exist once, like the Care Bears.
Right. Okay.
Is that also Mattel?
Probably. I don't think it could be.
Hasbro.
All right. Whatever.
Who wants to be a mother or a homemaker? Screw you, fascists!
If you're thinking, hang on, what about America Ferrera's character? Arguably the real heart of this film. What about the way she very clearly draws her strength, the strength that saves Barbie and Barbieland from motherhood? What about that already iconic line near the film's close? We mothers stand still so that our daughters can look back and see how far they've come. The way that
line makes no
and
sense.
the film more widely celebrates the mother-daughter bond. If you're thinking about any of those things, stop thinking about them, I guess.
Okay, how do you get a daughter without a Ken? How do you become a mother without a Ken? These people look down upon pregnant Barbie, who's not even named Barbie. How does this work?
I don't see how that contradicts what Drinker was saying with a line at the end of the film. I don't understand. What's the problem? He's taking the first part of the film, which is a nod to 2001. And instead of smashing the bones, it's a little girl smashing the dolls. We could all
representations of human babies.
We could have a good laugh at that. There's lots of things to laugh at with that. That's cool.
I didn't find that funny. I find it scarring.
Okay.
That's just.
They want
the symbolism of that is absolutely insane.
I think it's, well, you have to, like, I love the first 10 minutes of Stanley Kubrick's 2001. After that, I get bored, and I like science fiction.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so to see that done in that version with Barbie, I thought was pretty clever. Now, the message is whatever the hell you want, I don't care. But then they say, well, the end of the film, when this message comes out, that contradicts everything that the Drinker said. It's like, no, he isn't that far in the film yet.
No, you know what is really insane? The music that plays from 2001, where they smash the baby dolls. The same music, because this is an uplifting thing of the dawn of a new era. Something positive. The same music plays when Ken goes off on his own and finds the gym, the Jeep, the horses, the men doing manly stuff, having powerful jobs. That music plays.
Really?
So that means if you can't tell me that these people didn't notice this, or this is the part where somebody snuck this in the editing. That same music playing there means that what Ken does is positive. Him finding and embracing the patriarchy is a positive thing. He finds himself, he finds strength, he finds purpose.
That's a bit misleading, I would say. Yeah, if they
so if that is the movie portrays that as positive because it uses the same music in reference, and then what Ken actually does is totally negative and oppressive to the Barbies, although the Barbies are also happy, and they would not be brainwashed. That is the part in the last 30 minutes are the utmost projection you can ever imagine, that the Barbies that want to return Barbieland to Barbieland from the Kendom, the movie portrays it as if the now happy Barbies that work with the Kens together are brainwashed, because that is what feminists think. Feminists believe that women who are not feminists are brainwashed, which is a complete projection. It's the complete inverse. And that's why in the end, everyone, they just restore the misery.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget about the big speech at the end.
Oh God, I have repressed that. This was just pure insanity and babble.
Okay, 10 minutes and a half in. It's not bad. We're going by pretty quickly.
If that's not enough, how about the way Drinker acts confused by the Barbie's quick subjugation?
Question how the supposedly intelligent, empowered, and self-confident Barbies were so easily subjugated by Ken and the others. This is the kind of awkward little parrot.
Despite there being a line in the film which directly answers that question. Maybe he didn't like the explanation though, and elected to ignore it. You know, like an intelligent person would. And shockingly, some of these
Are you going to tell us?
He just stops and just changes the topic.
Are you going to tell us what that was, what that line was? Because the Barbie said, one in particular said, that, just supporting her Ken feels like a constant vacation, where she doesn't have to think. She's actually not thinking at all anymore, and it's great. She loves it. Because she doesn't have to do all this hard work anymore, all the complicated things. She loves that.
And the line,
yeah.
The line that explains why they were subjugated so quickly is that they don't have a natural immunity to the patriarchy.
What?
They don't see the cognitive dissonance that they need to, so they inject cognitive dissonance.
Oh, I thought they said that they want to break that. They thought the Barbies are in cognitive dissonance and wanted to break that.
No, they have to show them the cognitive dissonance. They have to inject it.
Oh, then did I misunderstand that part of the movie? Because that would actually make it the Barbie the Barbie Land fighters, let's call them that they are brainwashing the Barbies while claiming that they're breaking their brainwashing, which is exactly what feminists do.
Without the actual sentence from Pog, we have no idea what he's talking about. This is how you do not argue. It's like, Your Honor, my client did not do that. It's like how do you know? It just didn't happen. It's like what? We have
We
evidence.
need to watch that movie, Smut.
I will. I'll have to eventually.
Just outright untrue.
The real world and all the men in it are shown to be universally, irredeemably horrible. Because of course they are.
What about Duolingo husband, the he's just like me for real king? What about him? Did I blink during a split-second shot of him kicking a dog or something? Turns out, if you accuse any of these guys of lying when they demonstrably are,
dad?
a bunch of their buddies sick their goons on you, so at the risk of...
Wait, who's lying? What is he talking about? Let's just rewind. Like, who is this guy?
I don't remember.
I think he is he's the non-existent dad that is sitting there trying to learn Spanish.
Oh, that guy, the guy that says "se puede" at the end.
The weak dad. He's just
the beta male dad, who is definitely not the father of the girl.
So what is Pog? Let me rewind this. I am lost what he's trying to say here.
Irredeemably horrible, because of course they are.
What about Duolingo husband, the he's just like me for real king? What about him?
They call him out for appropriation.
Really?
So he's doing it bad as well.
So he's
I guess speaking a different language is appropriation now.
Okay.
Also, the fact that you can't call him by his character's name in the movie shows, just how memorable he is too.
I mean, to be fair, I can't call anybody.
I know. I'm saying he's trying to give an example here, and he can't even name the guy's character, and it's like, well, that's not a very good example if you can't even remember the freaking character's name.
Yeah, but
I thought his name was Ted because the daughter said Ted instead of Dad.
Yeah, but the drinker's saying
I'm not sure.
all these men are bad, and then Pog is saying, here's an example of a man who's not bad?
He gets instantly ridiculed.
I'm not understanding what he's...
And he's trying to be the soft, understanding, helpful, softy guy, and he gets instantly ridiculed.
Let's try this one more time. I am confused.
Fuck this shit.
And elected to ignore it. Like an intelligent person would. And shockingly, some of these nitpicks are just outright untrue.
The real world and all the men in it are shown to be universally, irredeemably horrible. Because of course they are.
What about Duolingo husband, the he's just like me for real king? What about him? Did I blink during a split-second shot of him kicking a dog or something? Turns out, if you accuse any of these guys of lying when they demonstrably are, a bunch of their buddies say...
So, wait a second.
No, you're lying.
He is saying one of these characters, which is a male in the real world of the film, is a good character. When you guys who saw the film say, no, he's actually not a good character.
He's there for 2 seconds. He's there for 2 seconds, tries to be supportive, and then gets insulted.
By whom?
The daughter.
Okay, so
the daughter.
we feel sympathy for him. Like, what's the dramatic element here?
I don't feel any. He's the typical atrocious beta sub pseudo throwaway last resort boyfriend.
So he's like comedic relief, but we feel sorry for him being so pathetic. Like I'm trying to see what...
No. He's so pathetic. We don't feel sorry for him.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, we're trying to see the thing about this male that doesn't make him a monster or disgusting or whatever. He's just this pathetic.
Yeah, but he's still repulsive. He's not the kind of guy who invokes sympathy.
But this is what Pog is defending, and you're like, oh, okay. So Pog likes this disgusting fellow, which he is then accusing all these guys of lying about as being not a good male in the real world. And he's like, oh, did I blink when he kicked a dog or something? It's like, did you watch the 2 seconds he was in where he became this horrible little miscreant of a man?
Or better yet, give an example of why he's not a terrible character.
That would be very helpful. Yeah. Like, Pog is like making this mountain out of a molehill. It's like, dude, did you even watch the film?
I haven't seen him bring a lot of substance.
It's like that thing you brought up earlier, Smud. You know, it's like this character's not terrible. Okay, well, what's not terrible about them? Anyway, it's like no, go back to that. Why is he not a terrible character?
Yeah, his opinion is just right, and let's go on to the next point. Like, why? How? When? Who? Wow. If this was an essay, a teacher would have all these red marks everywhere. It's like, what are you talking about? Who is this? What's your argument? What is this point?
So, at the risk of that happening again, I'm noticing a trend. Look, I'm not going to mince my words. This is bad criticism.
How?
I don't just mean it's based on misleading or untrue observations, it's also just bad
You just said it's just bad criticism. This is bad criticism because it's bad criticism. Are you understanding the English language? How sentences are formed and ideas follow each other?
No, he only understands rare words used to make yourself look more smart than you are.
Let's try this one more time, just to make sure I'm not hearing this incorrectly. And my God, a man from the actual British Isles knows how to speak English should better than I. And that was a horrible sentence too. I apologize. Anyway.
Noticing a trend. Look, I'm not going to mince my words. This is bad criticism.
Okay, that is a sentence. This is bad criticism, period.
I don't just mean it's based on misleading or untrue observations. It's also just
bad criticism. That is...
What does then constitute bad criticism aside from the adjectives just used?
Yeah, this lemon meringue pie has lemons. It also has lemons.
No, it's also a pie.
But this is so like regurgitative nonsense. This blue sky is blue, and guys,
it's a sky.
It's also a blue sky. Like, this is not an argument. This is not even sound smart. This is pathetic. This is sad. This is not even grade school. This is an error in judgment. You cannot write a sentence and then immediately repeat the same sentence without involving any new adjectives or descriptors or having a nuance to then include it into another form of thinking.
This is the bourgeois sophistry that already Confucius and Lao Tse criticized centuries before Christ.
This is like, here's a tautology and here's another tautology. Like, what? No, it's the same tautology. It's still a tautology. You're just using A equals A also equals A. Like, what? No.
Oh, congratulations! It's a true statement.
It's true. The sky is blue, and it's also blue. Okay, we got it. Yeah.
And the sky. You forget that it's the sky.
Yeah.
Bad criticism, actively hostile to complex thought.
There's nothing wrong with being actively hostile to something you don't like.
Then why don't you explain to us the complex fault behind the Barbie movie and the things he's leaving out because you're leaving them out?
And why being hostile is wrong. That's all he has to do. Why is the critical drinker wrong? That's it. If he thinks 2 + 2 is 4, explain to me why that's wrong.
Well, his argument is that it is his opinion that the critical drinker is wrong, and therefore you should listen to Pillar of Garbage's opinion that the Barbie movie is good.
Oh, jeez.
Barbieland privileges Barbies? Wow, I guess that means the film wants us to oppress men. New gender roles are adopted
It actually does.
quickly by both Kens and Barbies, following their exposure to LA business patriarchy. Isn't that an awkward little paradox? Wait, what's that? You're saying it's intentional, to point out the way gender is learned and the way patriarchy can
No, gender is not learned, you idiot. That is not even what the movie is about.
seem attractive, even to the women and men it harms. No, sorry mate, don't care, those words are too big. The review portion of his video finishes with a ham-fisted attempt to apply the gender politic of Barbieland to...
There's no gender politic in Barbieland. What are you talking about? This is, if anything, it's about equality. And the movie fails at solving the fucking problem because it's obsessed with keeping the men down to a ridiculous degree that destroys the idea of it being an inverse critique.
Our reality to criticize the result, despite, again, that not being the point of Barbieland. But this hostility to just thinking is made most...
Okay, at no point do I recall, I just watched Drinker's video a year or two ago, was he angry or hostile towards thinking or just thinking about whatever nuance that was not even explained. This is just another ad hominem. Oh, he has an angry thought. It's like, to what? About whom? Thinking? He's angry about thinking. Okay. Is that a criticism? Is that a bad thing to do? Like, I get angry at my thoughts sometimes. That's totally natural, actually. So what's wrong? I can have bad ideas, and I go, ugh, that was a horrible idea.
Apparent about midway through the Drinker's video.
Barbie eventually finds the kid who plays with her, who turns out to be an asshole communist activist feminist that I think the movie wants us to empathize with. But
Why this sounds? Because that is what she is.
fuck me, for the life of me, I could not tell you why.
She called Barbie a fascist, complained about capitalism, setting feminism back 50 years, and so on and so on. Those are her lines.
What? Yeah,
one after the other.
What child would utter these words? Just saying.
Yeah, teenager. You have to be brainwashed to spout these lines and so quickly, one after the other. It's insane.
I found why he doesn't know the dad's name. Because he doesn't have one. He's just known as the husband or dad.
Oh, I thought the girl Sasha called him Ted because she said the word so hard.
All right.
Well, then it's just dad. Okay.
Here is the Giga Chat. Thank you, sir, for the one. Reminder that the idea of gender being a social construct was created by a man who mutilated and sexually molested 2 boys. The experiment was called a success despite both identifying as boys and calling the experiments traumatic.
They identified as boys because they got fucking mutilated. Of course he's gonna know he's a boy.
Both committed suicide. Yes, we all know the story.
Oh, that both identified as boys after all proves the opposite. That it's not a construct.
Yeah, John Money was an interesting character. Anyway.
That's very well, nicely put.
I try to be positive.
Diplomatic.
Yeah.
The experiment failed. It was a success.
No, I didn't say that. Anyway, let's keep going.
Let me help you out. Surprisingly, no. We're not really supposed to empathize with the girl who calls Barbie a fascist and makes her cry. Maybe the girl does raise a kind of valid point or two, but she does so in a really mean way, and that's bad. We're not supposed to be on her side. Yet.
Really?
Because there's this cool thing called an arc she gets over the course of the film, but
Yeah, in the end she turns into a pink-clad Barbie after all, but she still has all the exact same views. She's still the same asshole.
She's just now named Barbara Handler.
I'm not talking about Barbie. I'm talking about Sasha. She is at the end, she's the same girl, but clad in a pink dress. But she still has all the same bullshit views, and she's pushing all this communist garbage onto the Barbies who retake Barbie Land through election rigging.
By reconnecting with her mother, she begins to see the worth in Barbie and the value of aspirational figures, just as Barbie sees the kid has a point, that aspirational symbols aren't solutions in themselves, yada yada yada. We're supposed to like where she ends up, not where she starts.
Yeah, that is also repulsive. You fail, pillar of garbage. You have garbage in your head. Not just you're not standing on a pillar of garbage, you are part of the pillar of garbage. But maybe that's also that's what the name means. I don't know, I'm not actually sure. You don't understand what the fuck is right in front of you. This girl has changed nothing but her clothes. What the hell? What kind of arc are you talking about?
Mean-spirited caricature of in a supremely telling moment.
Wait. A mean-spirited caricature of Zoomer leftism.
They're all mean-spirited, you asshole.
What is Zoomer leftism? Does anyone know what that means?
I don't know.
It's just this generation of leftists.
What? What is a whole generation?
Generation Z.
I used to work for a company.
I think you can also say millennial leftists.
I know. I used to work for a company called Zoomer Media, so I'm like, what the hell? They never talked about anything.
No. It's Generation Z, millennials, so it's millennial leftists. And they are all mean-spirited. As are you. You are disingenuous, you are lying, and you get upset when we call you out on being a bourgeois fuck, because that's what you are. And you don't like to be reminded of it, that it's actually rich people who can afford to buy this $4, $5 latte and walk with it through town. That is not something someone actually working class can do. Or somebody poor. And it's always types like you who want to sell us communism, socialism, all this crap about redistribution, because you, who is in a good position already, think you don't have enough. Because there's still people richer than you. While we down here, we look at you and think, what the hell are you talking about? You don't even know what it is like to be on the ground. And that's why your ideology is bullshit, because it's built on your fantasies about reality. It's as real as Barbie Land.
All right.
To have spotted that caricature, filtered it through the Hollywood is leftist and evil pipe he's got in his brain, and landed on the idea that we're supposed to like and agree with everything nasty the girl says simply because it's couched in a woke aesthetic.
Couched in a woke aesthetic? It's all she says. It's not couched in a woke aesthetic. Also, she is part of the reason the Barbies can take back Barbie Land and impose their tyranny again. What are you talking about? She's the solution to the problem, in quotation marks. You have seen the movie apparently, but bloody hell, are you mischaracterizing the movie and its characters? The only people who can believe you are people who are in your camp and are happy that you're lying about the movie, and people who haven't seen the movie who are taking you at your word because they trust you, because they're on your political side. That is all. Anyone who watches the movie with a neutral mind will see that you're full of shit, that you are the lying one here. That's all.
That slippage is amusing, and illustrates how thoughtless, how knee-jerk this critique is. Woke
What's wrong with being a knee-jerk reaction? I don't see a problem with that.
We constantly see that from the left.
Well,
it's okay when it's not okay when the others are doing it.
I mean, yeah, he doesn't want a knee-jerk reaction, but he also wants an emotional reaction. It's like, okay, so you want him to be thoughtful but emotional. It's like, which way do we go here? We miss something nuanced and we forget something when it's not quick enough. I don't get it.
Means we're supposed to like it, and it's unlikable, so film bad. There is no...
No, I don't think he's doing that. I really don't.
No. The film is unlikable because it is atrocious, repulsive, makes no sense, insulting in various ways. There are very, very few artistically interesting scenes. That's it. They're not relevant for the plot, though.
I do recall a Sitch and Adams show where they saw a video of Hassan reviewing The Critical Drinker. And The Critical Drinker said something that Hassan agreed with. And he was on stream while he was watching this. He says, wait a second, is this guy a right-winger? Because he didn't want to agree with someone he disagrees with politically. See, that to me means, because he's right-wing, therefore bad. Not, he has some nuanced points.
It means I have to take the opposite position of opinion of the guy who is in the politically other side than I am.
Right. I would love to accept and agree with someone's opinion who, they have some logic, they use some truth, they use some examples. I go, okay, I can agree with that. And then we could have a discussion. The problem is we tried that many times in the past. And it always gets derailed because they reinterpret the truth. Like they see the objective reality, they take it and they go, well, I clearly this means something else. It's like, no, you just described what it means. Now you're off in La La Land, your own fantasy, trying to assert your reality upon the narrative, which is not there. And we saw that with Berserk a few months ago. So that was fun.
Self-awareness here. Again, this is bad criticism. This is all bad criticism, but it doesn't matter.
You keep saying that. I don't know you know what that means.
This video lays out that misrepresentation of the film's PR, but it does something else too. It very consciously and very jarringly inserts Barbie into the canon of hated woke objects.
Barbie is like the deformed, mutated rage child of Captain Marvel, Ghostbusters 2016, and She-Hulk.
So, I'm an expert at controlling my anger because I do it.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
It seems a very transparent move, serving to designate Barbie as a battleground in the war against wokeness, and to turn his video from a simple Barbie review into a...
Why? It's the movie is a battleground for wokeness. So why are we not allowed to criticize that?
They shot first, so the fuck are we supposed to do?
And seriously, I have to rewatch these scenes where they start inducing the cognitive dissonance, because inducing cognitive dissonance is not how you break brainwashing, it's how you induce brainwashing. In order to get people out of brainwashing, you need to break the cognitive dissonance. So maybe that's why my brain sorted it into what it should be. That I mixed it up because of that. I don't know. I have to rewatch that part because this movie is just getting more and more insane the longer you watch it. Makes no bloody sense. And some of the things that the women complain about are even induced by women. It's not men doing it to them. It's women doing it to themselves, to each other. So wouldn't then the solution be, hey, women, let's not do this shitty thing to each other again? Like having to outdo each other in regards to fashion and beauty, but also not outdo each other too much to induce jealousy or some shit like that. That's a women internal problem. It's nothing to do with the men. The men aren't forcing them to it. And there are a couple of these examples in the list that the movie comes up with. It's not the men's fault. Even says that it complains about men in the beginning of the sentence, but then the real problem is people. Or what it was, women and people, something like that. So it was not men alone, but everyone, which includes the women.
Anyway, we're at 14 minutes and a half, and we got 6-7 minutes left. So we have been surviving. It hasn't been complete garbage, but at the same time, you haven't learned a damn thing. So
I think it's pretty much garbage because it's not saying anything at all except he's criticizing the thing I like because it's pro-my politics.
But it doesn't matter. The expoundionation.
Okay, anyway, let's keep going.
In that war. If this is the case, the result of this scaling up is that this abstract narrative of wokeness supersedes the specific film ostensibly under review, and the specifics of that film. To the legions of viewers who are slurping the reactionary Kool-Aid, the quality of his review...
Oh, reactionary Kool-Aid. So you mean the anti-communist Kool-Aid, yes?
Well, anytime...
So that means that the movie is pro-communist.
Anytime people call others reactionary, we just my eyes just roll back again. Like, here we go. What does this mean?
Yeah, but that's the moment. Yeah, reactionary means in the way of communism, in the way of socialism. You are a porthole. You keep communism back from where it needs to go, from where it wants to go, from where it deserves to go. You if not at worst, you want to roll it back. You are a bad person for not joining us, for not being with us, for not joining our cult, for not goose-stepping with us. Meaning, you're bad for not being a fascist, because that's what being a fascist really means. You goose-step with the group, you have the politically correct opinion, you don't question anything, you are not a reactionary. That's what it is all about. That is when people use that word, what they mean. You dare not be a socialist. You dare not be on our side. So he reveals what his problem really is. And what he thinks this movie really is. It is socialist propaganda. Because the only people criticizing it are reactionaries, meaning anti-socialists.
Okay.
The validity of his objections, all this becomes relatively unimportant, because the battle is already won. The film is already designated as woke, and woke is already bad. It doesn't matter if he lies about the film.
It is.
It doesn't matter if he thinks about the film. It doesn't matter...
What does that even mean? It doesn't matter if he thinks about the film. It doesn't matter what... If they...
And why he complained that Critical Drinker allegedly doesn't think about it? Matter anyway.
This is really... Okay, this is getting dumb and insulting. It doesn't matter what people think. It doesn't matter what he thinks. Blah, 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 blah. They made up their mind. They're just a bunch of robots. No, dude. This is not what he does. This is not what people do when they see a movie. They think about it for a while. They put their opinion down. They record it. Now, there could be some people out there who don't think anything. And we will admit that the Critical Drinker has a rather surface-level view of things. And that's fine. That doesn't mean he doesn't think about them. The difference is he doesn't make shit up. And this is what Pog does all the time with everything. Whether it's a JPEG on Reddit, or whether it's an entire film, or whether it's me criticizing him. He makes stuff up, calls people names, says we're not critical enough, we're not being objective enough, or this or that. It's getting stupid. And to say...
You mean he's true to his name?
It means he's lying. He's making up, I don't know, whatever you want to call this video, or the content thereof.
I call it a pillar of garbage.
I know, it's kind of obvious that this is what's happening. But it's kind of...
He's delivering what he promises.
It's all in his title, yeah. You don't have to worry about it. But to say it doesn't matter what they think, it's like, then why are you even addressing him? You're not going to change his mind. You're not going to even attempt to change his followers. You're just going to make a fool of yourself. Like, if I address Pillar of Garbage, there's a hope he's going to watch one of my videos. And I try to make it fun, because I know it's nonsense. I know everything we're doing back and forth is nonsense. But I can at least make you laugh, and you might have, he's having a good time. The problem became halfway through one of his videos. I just got tired of it. This is so dumb. He knows it's dumb. I know he knows it's dumb, and he's still playing along. He's still doing this YouTube.
Does he stop really?
Oh yeah, he knows he's what he's doing is stupid. It doesn't matter how intelligent you are. He's not deaf.
Or you just hope that he knows?
Oh no, I have full faith he knows what he's doing. He firmly believes what he believes. That's totally fine. I don't care. But like I don't know if you guys ever watched the last videos I did, because I got so tired of it. I just stopped all the pretense. I was tired of making a joke. I was trying to be an old man, Joe Biden or whatever the hell I was trying to do. And it was just, I can't take this. This is not fun anymore. So to say it doesn't matter what he thinks about the film, why are you bothering? Oh right, you're a grifter.
About the film, because it isn't about whether or not the men are bad, about whether or not this detail or that is explained, or whether or not we're supposed to sympathize with the mean lefty girl. The narrative matters. The shoddy criticism...
That's part of the narrative. What are you talking about? This is the dumbest shit. Like, this story... Guys, it's not about the message, it's about the story. It's like the message is in this...
Is he trying to put up a modern Bailey fallacy?
I don't know.
Because he will have to explain to us what the narrative then is. And if he doesn't, he's just pulling the same shit that he did for the past 15 minutes of his video.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. Guys, the message doesn't matter. It's the film. It's like, what does that mean? The social impact, the timing? Like, what are you talking about?
We'll see.
That makes up the rest of a video like this only needs to sound convincing, to scan once in order to legitimize that narrative, and its subsumption of the work under...
Subsumption?
What is this?
What is
definition of subsumption? Incorporating something under a more general category, a type of categorization. Why did you just say categorization? Classification, sorting, the basic cognitive process of arranging into classes or categories. Dude,
pretentious.
Get a life, sir. No one talks like this. No one uses these words unless they are literally in the social sciences, and they need to use that nuanced word for a specific purpose. Again, he has spent all this money at university or wherever he's from to get a shit degree, and now he's got to pay it off through YouTube.
And now he's a pseudo-intellectual.
Well, I don't know what he is, honestly. It's kind of hard to describe.
Yeah, but a pseudo-intellectual will resort to bullshit words like that in order to sound smarter than he is. Because he's not bringing any substance. He's just throwing in the occasional big word that the people who watch this don't look up.
Result of this tendency writ large is a culture in which movies aren't worthwhile for their ideas, their performances, or how they're able to affect their viewers.
Who's saying this aside from you? What is he talking about? I could enjoy a shit movie and look at the set design and say, wow, what a great set design, even though everything else sucks. Or wow, it's so bad it's good. Or wow, the music is amazing, everything else sucks. I could do that. Anyone can do that. What's wrong with that? I'm sure musicians who listen to music, who are excellent at performing, can say, oh, I'm going to watch this film because the music score is so good, like a John Williams score. Like, wow, Star Wars. I hate Star Wars, but the music's great. What's wrong with that? You take what you get.
While only insofar as they can be converted into clicks and into rhetoric. And let's return to that rhetoric, shall we?
What an inspiring message for impressionable young girls. The thing is, none of this would have been quite so insidious if the marketing hadn't done everything in its power to keep it a secret.
We're told that Warner and Mattel have tricked families into seeing their film, and that this is a problem. This is, quote, insidious, not simply misleading. The language used suggests it's not just a question.
Yes, it is, because this movie is neither for kids nor for family.
It's marketing. You could say
it's anti-family. It's anti-family.
You could lie to all of your fans or to all of your potential clients, and if it gets you in the seats, their job is done. It doesn't matter what they say. That's how marketing works, guys. I know it's sad, but
yeah, but it's in this case, it's truly false advertisement. It's not just here. Look, this cool action movie about action. Here it's as if you say, here, watch this cool action movie about action, but then there's no actual action in the movie, but some slice of life stuff with pseudo-philosophical garbage that bores you to death. That's what the advertisement is.
I mean, it's one thing when you lie to your audience and say, but to like cover up like a twist in the movie, in the narrative. You know, that's one thing. But when you watch a movie and they tell you to your face, men are bad, the patriarchy is bad, it's like, oh, I was lied to. This is not what I paid money for.
We need to manipulate the men in order to regain our status of power so that we can oppress the men again. Cool message.
He and Brenda are gonna have a good time. The drinker recommends you don't bring your kids here, and that you'll thank him for that later.
It's not very often that I say this in my reviews, but if you're a parent and you're thinking about taking your kids along to see Barbie, then the drinker recommends you skip this one and do literally anything else with them. Believe me, you'll thank me later.
The implication being that bringing them would risk interpolating those kids into this dangerous leftist mindset.
That's what it's for, you asshole.
The eagle-eyed, or rabbit-eared, I guess, among you might recognize how similar this sounds to that groomer narrative that...
Which is true. That's what you assholes do. You tell children that there's something that they're not, that they have medical conditions that they do not have, because that's not how they manifest, that's not how they're diagnosed, but you tell them anyway and set them on a path of self-destruction while you make tons of money on it and then exploit their misery in the hopes that they join your movement. You are despicable.
Like you do
the same to the children that you previously did to the homosexuals, that you before that did to the women, that before that you did to the workers, that you are doing to the Black Americans. You always lie to every demographic you target. Every single time.
There's a good way and there's a bad way of making a family movie. If you want a family movie, do something like Powerpuff Girls. Powerpuff Girls had a lot of jokes that were for the parents and flew right over the kids' heads. Most prominent one being
That's okay, Professor. I was a mistake too, or no, she said it was. I was an accident too. Oof, that one hits a little close to home.
Yeah, or from these modern movies with flaws, the third Bill and Ted movie with old Keanu Reeves and his buddy. That movie is actually about family. It's the family working together. You can interpret it as this, oh, we're giving it, stealing the torch, but that's not actually what's happening in that movie. It's halfway passing the torch, but it's really the fathers, the mothers, and the daughters all working together in the end to save the world. They all bring something. That's family. This movie is not that.
It beats you over the head with its messaging, and it's not for kids. In no way is it for kids.
It's not for sane people. It's for insane people. It's for the already brainwashed, preaching to the choir, and it is for the ignorant that can be susceptible to it, to the nonsense. That's all it is for.
All right.
And I think I know more about the trans shit than Pillar of Garbage.
Okay.
Just putting it out there.
Anyway, we're almost at 17 minutes. We got 4 minutes left.
Over there in normal country for a while now, and to the related strands of anti-woke nay cultural Marxism theories, the Drinkers podcast.
Cultural Marxism is not a theory. It calls itself that. It's a real thing.
Buddies like to bandy about. But hey, let's be generous and allow for the possibility that this similarity is accidental. That this alt-right
That's not being generous, that's you're making a hypothetical in your own.
Why is it always specifically alt-right? I mean, there's got to be
And
some.
a substrate. It's an alt-right substrate.
What the hell is that
there's
mean?
got to be someone of the opposite political opinion that, probably doesn't like most of these movies.
Oh, on that, because he loves these fancy words. Last week, I learned what the academic leftist official term for the Oppression Olympics is. You will never guess this.
What?
They call it the domination matrix. Seriously, it's Oppression Olympics in the academic papers of the left is the domination matrix. I suppose it leads you into the torment nexus, but I have no paper on that.
Well, there's got to be a hierarchy involved, so that's why it's bad.
Yeah, that's why it's a domination matrix. It's what dominates you. It's all these different oppressions that categorize you into the hierarchy of oppression of the Olympics, and that's done through the domination matrix.
Okay. Anyway, this is not helping. Oh boy, we can end it here, guys. I'm pretty happy with not going any further because this is wasting our time.
We're getting close to the last insane, the 2 minutes of insanity at the
nothing,
end.
like absolutely zero of any relevance of criticism that's objective, that is taking any kind of okay, maybe I'm wrong. What if I'm incorrect? Let me try and figure that out.
Now he's unmasking more and more because he rejects the notion that all the accusations of woke and communist and all of that. I'm fainting. These are all conspiracy theories. By the way, these reactionary alt-right substrate people who keep attacking us. Keep going.
Anyway.
Oversight on the drinker's part instead of malice or fervor. Either way, the video ends with a recommitment to Barbie as wokeness narrative fodder, and to the idea that it's succeeding because the film's advertising campaign lied. That's interesting.
That's normal. That is completely normal. People will go see a film, go buy a game, go do anything that's based on entertainment because of the marketing. I will admittedly say I bought Mass Effect 2 because I love and still love that trailer. Now, that trailer for Mass Effect 2 was one of the best trailers I've ever seen, but prior to that, they had a huge marketing blitz for about 2 months. And that's how you get clients. You market to them. You you email, you put it on the radio. They were on the Super Bowl. BioWare went crazy. Amazing what you can do when you actually launch a title on time and on budget. You have all this time and energy and money to focus on marketing, to do a good job on marketing. And arguably, people will say Mass Effect 2 is their favorite game out of the series, so good for them. But that's normal. Marketing works.
And then you bought Mass Effect 3.
Well, I had to. Yeah, I wanted to know what happened next. Anyway.
Now, as more and more people have caught onto the reactionary grift, the Barbie question.
No,
the reactionary grift.
The only one grifting is here is
no.
You.
So it's not reactionary to reject communism, which has killed millions of people, always enacts a bloody tyranny with secret police, with thought police, and with shooting anyone who wants to leave it.
Let's look at Pillar of Garbage doing a reaction to the critical drinker. What are you doing, sir? Are you too also not grifting on YouTube? What is the argument there?
Yeah,
this is look in the other mirror, dude. Like, what are you doing?
You don't need to grift to reject socialism.
But he's going to say, "Well, I'm just doing a reaction." Oh, you're a reactionary then. Oh, I'm not a reactionary. Like
that's not what he means with the word. No,
he's even worse than that. He's reacting to a reactor. Like Critical Drinker watched the trailer or he watched the movie and he gave us opinion, but he reacted to it. He gave us opinion about it. Now Pillar of Garbage is reacting to the reaction. So he's even worse than a reactor.
He's just saying, this reaction is wrong because it's calling out my ideology, which is totally not my ideology, but it's totally a good ideology. And calling it out is really, really bad, you fascist. By the way, where's my latte?
We've known for a while that the film would be a financial success, so the difficulty it had posed to your chuds and your grifters, the get woke, go broke crowd, was clear. Wokeness in this sense is an intentionally vague and malleable label, as I've discussed in previous videos, but there's really no workable formulation of it that wouldn't include the Barbie film. How, then, is that sacred mantra to be preserved? How can Barbie's runaway success be anything but an open refutation of get woke, go broke? The drinker, knowingly or not, though I suspect...
Because this one knew that it could appeal to a big brand while bringing a trailer that doesn't directly show how much propaganda it is. Misandrist propaganda.
Furnished this movement with an answer.
That is, by the way, it's antenatal. We can't just call it antenatal. It is against having children. Don't give me this mother-daughter relationship. If we follow the logic of the Barbie movie, there will be no daughters in the future.
I do still recommend watching Michael Knowles' interpretation, but again, I haven't seen the film, so I don't know.
Michael Moore?
No, Knowles. He's on.
Oh, my bad. My brain.
Yeah, he's on the Daily Wire.
Sweat.
Yeah, all the guys I think reviewed it. I didn't watch them all, but Michael Knowles had the most positive outlook. So.
Yeah. Oh, and Daniel Chico in the chat says, woke sells very well for women. Making girl products woke is a good market. Doing for male-oriented products is not. That is true. The main supporters of socialism are women because it mainly argues with emotional appeal, not with rationality, not with logic, because it doesn't have any inside. It pretends to be logical, pretends to be rational. Well, it's just emotional garbage in order to scam people. It is snake oil.
All right. 18 minutes. Almost done.
Barbie tricked the world. People were lured to see it under false pretenses. It doesn't count as a counterexample because the trailers lied. As we've seen, that isn't really true. But when has truth ever got in the way of this lot before? The Drinker's Barbie video...
Okay, can we stop now? I'm getting really offended. Like, when has the truth ever got in the way of every single opinion that Pillar of Garbage ever has had? When he uses his imagination to concoct his own videos.
I'm sorry I didn't pay attention. I was reading the chat.
I'll rewind it just to be safe.
Oh no.
Doesn't count as a counterexample because the trailers lied. As we've seen, that isn't really true. But when has truth ever got in the way of this lot before? The Drinker's Barbie video then might be more than a loose collection of inaccurate jabs. It might be an effective employment of dishonesty, a carefully calculated, almost plausible justification for the continuation of that anti-woke grift.
Or you simply disagree with him and you don't like his opinion, and you're then calling him names and calling him a liar.
And you call him a liar because he's right.
Well, not necessarily.
And you don't like it. You don't like having your scam called out and therefore call the critic of your scam a grifter.
You could say that I disagree with your opinion of being the movie sucks or it's this or that. I could say that because it's my opinion. There's nothing wrong with doing that. You simply have to justify it. There's nothing wrong saying I don't agree with you. I like the film. It was fun. Great, that's your opinion. Not a very good argument, but you could still say that. That's fine. It's this nonsense that has no basis for argument or logic or reference. Like when you're saying you're wrong and then changing the topic. That does not help. This is not helpful.
That's all it does. It's childish. It is not even close to... Is it even pretentious?
Well, let's say this was a woke film or whatever, and he's calling this, well, this is an anti-woke grift. It's like, and what's wrong with that? He's doing the thing.
Well, calling it a grift means that Drinker doesn't actually hold the opinion that woke is bad.
Great. Prove it.
Or that socialism is bad. He's just doing it for the money. And by the way, this is the socialists, feminists in particular, because they function the same way. What socialists believe? They believe that their ideology is the ultimate good, and how could anyone honestly be against it? Therefore, anyone who's against it is lying and just doing it for clout. But then how could anyone how could anyone fall for the people who pretend that they're against socialism when everyone is actually in the heart of hearts for socialism. It makes no sense.
Well, I don't mind that he actually calls him names or uses these terms like anti-woke. I just want him to prove it. And I've been hearing the word grift. Like, if you watch the film, I'm sure you'll hear the word patriarchy multiple times. We've heard the word grift at least 4 times now in this video. So
this is the only insult that he can come up with. But Drunk Mumble said something interesting in the chat. That is, when even Margaret Robbie, mid-interview, realized the movie was misandrist, even if she couldn't name it, what she described was perfect misandry, as Greta Gerwig squirmed right next to her. I'd like to see that interview. If you could post it in the server, that would be great.
That'd be nice. Thank you. Here's a super chat from Legacy. Thank you for the $4.99, sir. Basically, POG falls under actual fandom's flaw foundation of being actual fans and having the inability to recognize ruination or engage with medium. These are 2 different people, and actual fandom or whatever that person is has his own issues. These are related, of course, but I don't want to start bringing up other weirdos that just don't make sense. Like I can list a bunch of names that are crazy, and we could find a connection between that and Pillar of Garbage. Like we can easily do this. We've gone through at least 24 people we know we've covered over the years. So I don't know what Pillar of Garbage is referring to when he talks about anti-woke grifters, because anyone can criticize anything that you disagree with, and if you're woke, well, this person's anti-woke. It's like, no, they just disagree with you, buddy. And yeah, they have a YouTube channel and they get AdSense like you do. So if if anyone who covers a video is a grifter, then what the hell is Pillar of Garbage? It's silly. Anyway, name calling doesn't help.
Fans so rapidly claim he's not a part of. To be clear, though, I am not stating that this is the case. It is a possibility, sure, but...
So, wait a second. Is he calling me a grifter or not? Like, what is this?
I don't think he knows anymore.
Let's try this again.
For the continuation of that anti-woke grift his fans so rapidly claim he's not a part of. To be clear, though, I am not stating that this is the case.
So he's calling him a grifter, but he doesn't know it's true. He's an anti-woke grifter, but he doesn't know whether it's true or not.
He's called him that several times, and now he's backpedaling for his own safety.
I don't know. This is weird. It's like, I know he's a grifter. It's like, no, he's not. I'm not sure. Is he trying? Like, maybe he's not. And then what are you talking about? Do you have any evidence? If you had evidence, you would have called him exactly what he was. If you didn't have evidence...
this part is just him pretending to be nuanced and not be nailed on insults. Because, it's just a possibility, what I said the last 20 minutes. Just covering his ass.
What a guy.
Possibility, sure, but there is another one. Isn't pushing these narratives intentionally, isn't pursuing an inaccurate framing of the film in order to help the reactionary anti-woke grift continue, and isn't trying to couch his inaccurate review in this sort of Mott and Bailey structure where flaws and poor criticism don't matter because woke film bad anyway. The other possibility is that he's not ideologically committed to any of this, and is simply exploiting it.
So you're saying he's a grifter?
Yes, because that's the definition of a grifter, you asshole.
So he may not be a grifter, but he may actually just be a grifter.
Smud, he doesn't have... Smud, you see, he has the exact evidence that he may not be a grifter, but I don't know if he's a grifter. But you see, he in fact is a grifter, but the other evidence is telling me he is not a grifter.
The only conclusion reason why he can say this right now, here, is that he never looked up what the word grifter means. And he just uses it with some faulty, vague, intuitive understanding that it's somehow an insult, but he doesn't know what it actually means. And therefore now uses the definition that he's a grifter instead of a grifter, the word. He's the grifter definition instead of a grifter, the word. What the fuck?
This is no different than what he said minutes ago, which was a tautology. And it's like this
does he
The sky is blue.
Does he put drugs in his latte, or what is this? How does this happen?
It's like the sky is blue and the sky is blue. You're like, oh, okay.
No, he's not blue, but he has maybe he has the light frequency of this much nanometers, which is blue.
I think that he's intentionally saying dumb shit, so in his later years he looks back and says, wow, I said a lot of dumb shit on purpose.
I don't think he's saying this intentionally. I think he is just dumb.
He's forgetful.
You see, Your Honor, my brains are leaking out of my fucking head. But that's just it for this pillar garbage argument.
I'll just use my my digital thesaurus and come up with a new word for grift. How's that?
Your Honor, I can. Yeah, my videos are clear evidence that I cannot be held liable for persecution because I am obviously insane.
Your Honor, my client is clearly guilty.
On one hand, he's a grifter. On the other hand, he could be a grifter. Like, what the fuck?
But I'm not saying that he's the grifter. Like, by the way, I think that he's holding his opinion in order to support a narrative that he doesn't believe in.
He has no ideological basis. Like, so what if he doesn't?
So he's not a reactionary.
What if he actually thinks it's woke crap, but he's not a grifter? Like, what if that possibility is true? Like, who cares?
It's like that bit from the Mel Brooks movie, Dracula Dead and Loving It. It's like, do you think he's a vampire? Maybe. Yes. I don't know. Maybe. It's like that bit.
Oh, jeez. Anyway, we got
theory of yes and no.
We got 2 minutes and a half left.
Exploiting an audience that doesn't care if your review's built on lies, misrepresentations, and nonsensical nitpicks,
like
so
yours.
long as it's targeting a woke product. And that he's doing this either out of laziness or because he's not a good enough critic to do his job any other way.
Everything is projection.
Formulaic
It's
thriller
awesome.
novels and clickable little morsels of hate is one thing, but actually engaging with art...
Oh, I hate this. Are you engaging with... Do you understand? Do you see the way I see the art? I don't think I could. I can't.
Are you using your pelvis to paint the canvas?
Oh, I think the first cubicle scene was artistically well done.
This is
that was good. That was good editing.
I'm going to criticize your very nature as a critic. You don't even know how to criticize. Your eyes don't see the same spectrum of color that I. It's like, okay, all right. I may not be as I was going to say a fancy word. I may not be as strong in the force of dictionary words that you use, sir, but at least I understand what the hell's going on when I see something. Oh, good Lord. No one talks like this. You don't criticize a man for using his eyeballs improperly. Oh, he's not even a critic. Like, where do you go to school to be a critic?
Art is another. So his Barbie video isn't interesting because it's
very interesting because you made a video about it, you putz.
I thought he said something else for a second there instead of Barbie.
It says porkies. To me that means pork bellies, but I like to eat.
Of porkies, or because it sometimes plays like he fell asleep in the theatre. It's interesting because it lays out pretty clearly the dilemma at the heart of the Critical Drinker channel.
Which is what?
Is he just a chud on the anti-woke grift? It's been able to maintain a kind of plausible deniability.
He has over 1.6.
Does he even know what chud means? Because I'm pretty sure it's not the thing he's fucking thinking of.
He's got millions and millions of views every week on one simple take on a video. People seem to like what he has to say. I'm not saying those people aren't sheep or they're not unthinking or they're purely thinking people. It's surface level. It's quick. It's fun. It's sometimes funny. He's got a thing going. Good for him. The same way Pog has a thing going. Good for him. I don't care how you make your money. It's whether or not the stuff you're giving me is quality and whether or not you're lying to me. That's what I care about. If a video game is quality produced very well, and it's not some tropist garbage or regurgitated garbage, then great. I will say this is fantastic, and the studio is great, the people are great, blah, 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 blah. Critical Drinker is not that deep. He might get one thing deep, one thing wrong. I don't care. He has his audience. It works. If you go to the comments section of Pog, all these guys are brain dead. Or they're drinking the Kool-Aid, or they're just fluffing up Pog. That's all they're doing in the comments. Even today, or not today, a few days ago, I had to reply to a Pog fan reply on one of his original videos that I criticized. They were trying to attack me, did horribly, stopped replying. These people are dumb. He is appealing to these horrifically minded individuals who, I don't know, whatever nuance of politics they got in their head, they think...
It's the same audience that follow people like Vosh and Hassan.
I don't know. Those are... I think a half of those people just watch Vosh because he's a spectacle. Hassan, I don't know. I don't understand him at all. But people...
Yeah, I can see... You can cringe watch these kinds of people as well, but they have legit supporters, and that's the same people or same types of people that this guy is appealing to, that Renegade Cut is appealing to.
Oh god, I forgot about that guy. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I remember we said, okay, we're not doing Renegade Cut anymore, and then we randomly saw a video suggested, like, we're not doing that.
We can do a Jubilee episode.
Oh yeah, December, end of year. It's freezing. You have nothing better to do because it's too cold to go outside. Anyway, we got less than 2 minutes.
In the way say, Geeks and Gamers hasn't, or is he just a hack, unable or unwilling to produce well-written videos?
The guy's a writer. He's a well-produced writer. He's sold books. He's made his millions. What are you joking right now?
The projection is out of bounds. It's out of bounds.
This writer critic fellow who's made millions of dollars and has millions of followers and makes millions of dollars on YouTube. He's not well written, guys. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's a hack. Whereas Pillar Garbage is completely factual, 100% truthful. Everything he says is golden. You believe everything he says. There's no errors or flaws at all.
Found a strategy that requires neither. What's the answer? Well, here's mine. Does it matter? Does it change anything? Either way, a Get Woke, Go Broke Barbie exemption has been furnished. Either way, the criticism on display here is largely drivel.
How is it drivel?
And either way...
Because he doesn't agree with it. This is... Oh my god, this is why I gasped right now. This is... His response in the end is, does it matter? Because... the narcissistic response to getting called out on bullshit and then being unable to refute any of the legit arguments, in the end often becomes, I don't actually care about it. Oh, it doesn't actually matter. Then thereby dismissing the problem. And he made a 20-minute long video doing exactly that. Arguing for 20 minutes and then ending it with, oh, it doesn't actually matter.
Thank you.
Like, this is the admission that he is a pseudo-intellectual hack.
And listen, read the title one more time. How the Critical Drinker Misrepresents Barbie and Why That Matters. And at the end he says, yeah, it doesn't matter.
Damn.
Again, if this was a teacher grading an essay, immediate fail. It's just like, what are you doing? Guys, I'm going to tell you why this thing matters. Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter. Great video there, Pog.
Wow.
I feel like we were lied to.
My mind is blown. Even more so than by the movie.
We might have been lied to.
Oh, maybe? Okay.
So much for grifters, right?
Yeah, I hope he has like an ad for like VPN or some network. I don't care. Just give me something. I don't want to listen to this guy anymore.
I thought Pillar of Garbage was a family-friendly YouTube channel. I didn't expect him to do this.
That's right.
I thought it's a latte-friendly channel.
Think of the kiddies and the coffee drinkers. That's what he call himself, the coffee drinker. Not the critical drinker, the coffee drinker.
No. The coffee carrier.
Coffee carrier. I carry coffee.
Coffee walker? Coffee walker.
I walk.
Walker coffee ranger.
The cacao smasher.
Oh dear. Anyway, we're trying to have more fun than we're actually having.
All better off not watching.
It was so filled with rage and hatred and bitterness that it just had to come spewing out onto the screen.
It did.
Wait, what the fuck is this gonna lead to?
Is this him?
Thank you for watching. If you want to help this reach a
that was
wider
worth it.
audience,
What was
likes,
that
comments, and
for?
shares are all very much appreciated. If you'd like to help support me more directly, Patreon pledges
No.
of any level are a
Wait a
huge
minute.
support. And
Two,
just because
four,
on the rare
6.
occasions I put out videos like this, I always get a bunch of comments along the lines of, wow, stop clout chasing, make your own videos, don't just drama farm bigger names. Just look at my channel, man. I've got more than 200 videos, and this is the third about this guy. The vast majority of my content...
The insecurity. The insecurity spewing out. I have to justify my ego. I'm not actually as bad as you call me.
Is about media, not about people misreading that media. So if you comment something like that, I'll know you have...
Oh yeah, so everyone else he criticizes misreads media. That's amazing.
Yeah, because he knows what he means.
Oh, therefore it must be true.
Others don't know what he means, and he doesn't understand. But let's assume he doesn't understand that he just completely fails to articulate what he actually means.
Yeah, my interpretation of media is perfect, and you should always trust me. And every time I criticize someone, they are imperfect and they are incorrect. It's not their fault that they're not like me. It's just how it...
Because when I say something vague, you obviously totally exactly know what I'm thinking and what I mean, and if you don't disagree with me, then you're just lying. Although I didn't actually explain anything.
Oh, boy.
This guy needs a therapist.
No, I think he needs a grammar teacher.
That as well. He can have both. They're not mutually exclusive.
And I'll therefore instantly talk more Barbie, less drinker, then hey, check out the last video I posted. Otherwise, cheers, bye. And special thanks, as always, to my Patreon supporters on screen now. Especially
Cheers.
Daniel Goldhorn, Ryan Emily, Thomas R., and Weirdy Birdie.
Why are you people paying this guy?
Boy.
The fuck, there was a Russian one in the last part.
Yep, he's taking Russian money.
All right, guys, that was hopefully our fill of Pog for the next ever
quarter.
Ever? Just stop doing. This guy is pathetic. Everything he makes is fabricated nonsense with probably a second edit at most. He had to get his English correct if his grammar or his English spell check didn't work.
He had to check his thesaurus.
Yeah, and then pump up the words with changing words. This is the thesaurus check. Oh boy.
Green memes.
Do we have to do? Oh god.
Wait, we didn't do the other stream names, I think.
Oh.
Oh no.
I think we did. Let's find out.
You know what that means?
August the 15th. Sorry. Yeah, we missed a whole bunch. But
from the top.
Too many Marios. Here we are, Legacy, August 18th. There we go. What do we got for me, Legacy? You got... Okay, American Psycho. Okay, see what you did there. Ken, patriarch of the Ken Patriarchy. I am Kano. What the hell?
Oh wow!
Is that the guy from the good doctor? What is it?
That's him.
All right.
I know we're further down, but I'm just seeing these concept arts for the Mario movie that Carabre posted for the 93 one, and there was actually an idea to make that actually the Mario Fantasy World thing. That would have been awesome.
I'm trying to remember. Does he have Asperger's or what's his mental condition? I can't remember. The Good
I don't
Doctor.
know.
It's something like that. He's either very sensitive to information and he processes it a bit differently. Anyway.
Yeah.
I thought it was autism.
Autism? Yeah, it could be autism.
I thought he was said to have autism.
Yeah. Okay, Grips.
What show is that?
The Good Doctor. I think it's Canadian. I can't remember. Is it Canadian? No, I have no idea.
Okay.
Anyway, grips your liver aggressively. Is that a cat?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Very angry cat.
All right. The only Ken I care about, Kentucky. Isn't there better chicken franchises out there in America? I'm quite sure there is. But fair enough. Oh, look at that. That's charming. Anyway, oh my God, I can't.
No, it's French.
It's French. All right. Can anyone read that?
It's not the stories the Barbies would tell you.
Have you ever heard the tragedy of Beachkin of the Kingdom?
No.
It's not a story the Barbies would tell you. That's good. That's actually really good.
So here we got Red Dwarf reference, while screen capping the is that mobile version of the stream? I don't know.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, it's Hawk. That's why he's on his phone. Okay. I mean, what? Hawk, these guys vote on it. I don't make the rules here. I just say, okay, we'll do it. We'll do whatever you want.
Democracy has failed us.
Yes. This is...
Well, it also failed Barbie Land.
That does not look like a healthy Barbie, so I don't remember that one at all.
No.
Fat Barbie coming soon to a buffet near you. Haha. Each time I see him show the baby doll scene, I think of this. Oh, come on. As much as I love this scene, I can't keep playing it.
Oh no.
Comments. Is this on Pillar of Garbage's video?
Yeah.
Oh God. I'm not going to read these. These are so sad. Yeah, you guys can read those yourself. It's just like, oh my God, these people are sad. A superior film in the making.
Do it.
Is that the
Do it, Hollywood. You cowards.
What is that?
You gotta make sense of right happen. We need the ultimate team up. It's Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, Shrek, random Power Ranger, Yellow Lightning McQueen.
Oh wow.
And all of your favorites.
That cannot be legal. That's
an idea.
Chinese.
This is the Yellow Ranger from SPD.
So they just China just
sometimes
went,
it's the blue one.
Yeah, but China just went, okay, we're gonna get popular names and throw them together in a toy box.
Who said it was China?
Who else would be allowed to do it?
South America, they don't care about copyrights.
Oh really? All right. Excuse me, but my daughter asked for extra pickles. Mother, please, it's fine. Original 1959 Barbie. Barbie Prince 2004? Interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here we have shredding machine crushing some Barbie dolls. Okay. Oh boy. All Mattel executives are still males. All Barbies keep existing in the Barbie land for consumers purposes, but now with less power. The insufferable feminist girl learns that following the feminine beauty standards is not a problem. All males on Barbie land are now free from being submissive. All of events that happened during the movie had zero impact in the real world, meaning it's still a patriarchy. And by the end of the movie, we learn that Barbie is a real woman because now she has a vagina. You can't make this up. That was the implication, I guess, at the end of the film.
The movie also leaves out that about Barbie asks the board whether there ever was a female CEO. That's where the conversation goes, and the CEO says, "Oh yeah, we had one for like 2 years or something, and there was another two, I think, at some point. Yeah, that other one was the founder or co-founder, the inventor of Barbie. She co-founded because she founded the company with her husband, and she was president of the company for 30 years, from 45 to 75. And that only ended because of, investigations, because some financial documents were not exactly done right, but rather intentionally done wrong.
All right, so I guess this is an anime version of the movie? Looks like it. And then we have...
it's comic stuff.
Oh, it's
that's Oppenheimer.
It's Oppenheimer with the Barbie. Okay, and then we have the big explosion in the background. Okay. Whoa, a little dark there.
Bombs kill people?
Barbie keep moving. A Mojo Jojo Casa house.
Barbie
What?
keep
Mojo
moving. This
House.
this is a Mojo Dojo Casa.
What the? Okay, average. Why are you saying chai tea? You're saying TT. It's a Mojo Jojo Casa house in. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
Garbage. Pillar of garbage. Okay. Barbie breakups skyrocket as movie sheds light on real life toxic relationships.
Basically, yeah, it does. Because the men realize they are enough.
Here's from the Giga Chat. Guys, the film doesn't hate men. Example, the loser faggot husband, whose name I can't remember, and gets mocked. In Enigma, background character 37 seems like a good male role model, so your statement that all men are portrayed as bad is inaccurate. Yeah.
Yeah, and as we learned, he doesn't actually have a name. That's why we can't remember his name.
Yeah. Such a real character, such a believable character. God, the male. Anyway, this guy ain't so
that
bad.
guy and Alan were male feminists. Alan was the worst. He was just sabotaging everyone.
Okay.
For his personal gain.
Here
Sneaky
is,
beta male.
I don't know who Carol Zaman is, but to watch Oppenheimer, you need to understand geopolitics, modern physics. Okay. Astronomy, you need to have IELTS score minimum of 8.5 and a GPA of 3.9 plus. I don't think that's true. And to watch Barbie, you just need a girl to go with, so watching Oppenheimer is much easier. Nowadays, that's probably not incorrect, if you're in Toronto, at least. Jar Jarby? Yikes.
Misa gonna lie down and die.
Oh, boy. Well, as you say that, it's a bad thing, but honestly, it's the best thing there is. I keep seeing him in his role in his latest role.
Oh, you mean his greatest role in that one mecha that shall never be named?
Oh, yeah? We're not going to talk about that.
Morbius?
No.
Not that one.
Only Cyric knows what I'm talking about.
Wait, which one?
You know, the one mecha that could not be named.
You mean the one that I scrubbed from my brain? Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Why would Santa give me something that would never happen? Toys are obviously false reality. Wake up, America. Okay. Har har.
And then Biwa posted the same meme again.
I just did that.
We having another Melvin?
She's broken. He's Ken.
Yeah.
Okay. Barbie and Ken faking their relationships of 1961. Okay.
No, she's just since 1961. Barbie has been leading Ken on.
That's what the movie portrays, yeah.
Yeah, it's called friend zoning.
There we go.
Not even. She doesn't care about him at all, it turns out.
Yeah, that's true.
It's worse than friend zoning.
I don't know why there's a video of Wisp, but do I have to play it?
Yeah.
What?
That's just an origami fold. I refuse to believe that thing is real.
Oh my god. Don't play that video. Yeah.
Too late.
And the same thing, the same meme. You saw that. Kens get treated like shit. A single Ken goes to the real world. He discovers patriarchy, goes back to Barbie Land, establishes his own Ken fascist dictatorship. Everyone is happy and things go pretty well. This is a feminist movie again. That's good.
Oh
no!
You forget about Ken becoming the Uber Kench.
No.
Oh! Okay!
The Uber Ken.
In that case, do you think you could elaborate?
Yeah, that was pretty much... Guys, never, ever at the end of your video, if you're making a video, an essay, or any kind of like argument, so it really doesn't matter. Don't ever... You just wasted everyone's time.
It was all a dream. It didn't matter.
That's what the equivalent of a story is, yeah. Don't do that. She still embodies all the awful stereotypes she did before, but she's got to know
But she's got to know how.
Yeah. I love trash. Well... Oh, hey, look what the dictionary definition of pretentious is. That's perfect. Let me use some big words and say a lot of crap, and then, by the way, everything I said doesn't really mean anything. Doesn't matter, guys. Okay, that is the character of...
Bill Clinton.
Is it the Simpsons version of Bill Clinton? Okay.
No, it's Family Guy.
Family Guy version? Okay. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Oh, God. What is this? Here's a test for you. Which cartoons do you think is best for kids and adults to watch? A show with silly, wacky cartoon for kids with a hint of adult humor for the adults, or a show that talks about gender identity and sexuality? I know you'll make the right choice. Well, that's the great thing about Animaniacs, Freakazoid, The Real Ghostbusters Season 1.
The old Animaniacs from the 90s, not the reboot that they did.
Right.
Or remake or continuation, because that's woke garbage.
Yeah, they have lots of adult humor that you actually have to pay attention because they're so quick. That's how they got away with everything. How feminist...
No, but the new they continued Animaniacs, but they made it woke.
Really?
It's unwatchable.
I never bothered.
It's real bad.
Okay. How feminists think women would run the world, and how it would actually go. Oh.
I mean, that'd be funny to see the below image actually happen.
Women.
Okay, I've seen that.
How pretentious can you get?
Is that what game is that? The one with the bow and arrow. Is that Thief?
It looks like Thief.
Yeah. Your Honor, my clients say they did it and cry about it. I rest my case. Your Honor, if you look at my client's YouTube channel, my client is clearly insane. Wow. This would have been a better movie. Special edition GWOT Drip Ken. Interesting. Wait, it was all a dream, yeah. Gay Ken. Oh, that's interesting.
Fuck is this thing?
What?
There's so many earrings.
Oh, boy. Leaves Barbie Land to have a better life. Becomes a driver. Okay, we're just listing all his films. Since he's artificial, he can live forever. Year 2049. Becomes Officer K. K equals Ken. Timeline is complete.
Yep.
Ha ha. Lots of 80s references, but that's okay.
All right.
Yeah, holy jeez. Oh, that takes a lot out of you. Ooh. Whereas this is literal useless crap. At least with Maggie May Fish, we get crazy, fun, silly shit.
I have one more.
You have one more what?
I have one more meme.
Oh, yeah. Do we have to go back? Like I just closed the window. Why are we doing this?
Nice.
That's a good meme.
Nomad, Street Kid, Corpo. Oh, I see what you did there.
Nice.
One day I will play that game and I will enjoy the nuance of my avatar.
I think the DLC came out for it recently.
I heard it's going to be good. I don't know when it's coming out though. I just has it gone down in price at all in the past 4 years or whatever it came out? No, yeah, I don't think so.
And the DLC is like $30.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass.
Well, it
on
also changes a lot too. Adds improvements to it.
They're still improving the game. Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that was
Yes.
Again, Maggie May, you go, you laugh because it's so dumb. This is just trash. This is worthless regurgitation.
It's not funny. It's not entertaining.
It's childish. It's ideologically driven. It has bad grammar. It has dumb words that you don't need to learn. And it's criticizing a critic poorly. And this is the sad thing. It sounds wrong. We know it's wrong. And he knows that. I know he can't be that dumb. He's not that. If you have a thesaurus and you can use fancy words, you can understand when you're coming up with a bad argument. You're like, oh, this argument has some holes in it. It's not as solid as I can make it. He ran with it. He just does it. He just spits it out. It's pathetic. Anyway, I think we should all take a break, either get a drink, relax, do some exercise, take a nap, whatever it is you got to do to feel better about yourself.
Pull-ups.
Well, that's my solution, but not everyone has the same exercise choice. Everyone has their own thing. Go for a walk, do some shadow boxing. I don't know, whatever works for you. Go do it. Feel better about yourself.
1 kilometer kicks and punches.
Well, that'd be a little creepy. Running around. Sorry?
I was going to say, there was a funny thing that me and Whisp were joking about with watching the Barbie movie. There's a scene where, after the previous scene where they get arrested for hitting the guy, the assaulter, it's just, you know what, maybe they should cut. It's like, there's no point to that scene. Maybe they should get rid of it. And then the scene after that is just, you know what, maybe they should cut this scene because it doesn't seem realistic of them getting arrested because, it's California. They won't arrest you unless you steal more than $900 or whatever the price was.
$1,000 and over.
$1,000. So it's like, there you go.
California's a funny place right now, but I think the world is in a funny place right now, not just the States. Anyway, thank you guys for that recommendation, I think. I'll thank you for that. It wasn't the worst Pillar of Garbage video we covered, but it was all the things that we have come to love about him. His pretentiousness, his lying, his imagination.
Wait, we love him?
We don't hate him, or else we wouldn't cover him. So...
Fair.
Like we love Maggie May Fish for different reasons, but it's not.
I wouldn't call it love.
Well, it's got to be love. There's no other emotion in the world that would.
I'd say I would rather say careful appreciation.
Well, no, that's kind of like I kind of like looking at dog shit, but not really. It's like no, you gotta love wading in that crap.
I don't love dog shit.
Well, no, but Maggie May Fish is a special kind. It's like a special.
Not everything has to be a dichotomy.
Well, no, I'm not saying you either love the woman or everything else. It's like for what we've been doing.
Everything else, I stick with everything else.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, guys,
we will not challenge you or for fighting over her.
Okay.
No worries.
I still think we should bring in Dunn back and do some old classic Maggie May Fish videos we never covered before. They're like 2 hours long. But anyway, let's get on with life. Have yourself a good one. Take it easy. Keep the suggestions coming. Keep the voting going. We'll talk to you guys soon. Goodbye.
Good night.
Good night.